Live from Music City, Nashville, Tennessee. This is your motivational, sensational, inspirational, educational, keenly awaited, highly anticipated edition of what is real life trading up to in 2018. Traders from around the world, how's everyone doing on this beautiful, terrific, fantastic Friday afternoon? Throwing some ones if you can hear me okay. Jesse says lovely, fantastic. My man Andriano's in the building. What's going on, sir? Angie Barbosa's here. What's up, Ange? Let me get you promoted to let me get you promoted over here, Angie. Give me about 7 seconds. There's a lot of you here. This is exciting. Give me 1 second. Promote to panelist. We'll see what that does. I love Angie being in the background. Samuel, how are you, sir? Jay, how's it going? Bill, John, Carolyn, a lot of people here. Fareed says, what's up? Mark says, just want to say Happy New Year, brother. Thanks, man, for being here. Appreciate that. Sandra says, hey, what's going on? Miss Francoise from Montreal, how are you? Samuel says he's doing great, phenomenal. Ant is in the building. What's going on, Ant? How are you? Bob, hope you're doing fantastic. Sherry, Daniel, Dennis. A lot of people here. So we're going to give it about 60 more seconds, just let a few more people pile in. I know a lot of you are here for potentially on your lunch break. We'll be recording the entire session today, you know, just in case you miss anything. If you're watching this in the recording, thanks for watching the recording. And again, for those who are here live, just want to say welcome. Thank you for being here. Just want to talk about a lot of things, mostly the stock market. What's it going to look like in 2018? How are we going to trade it? How are we going to mitigate risk, trade our plan, make money, live amazing lives, enrich lives around the world? And then, of course, what is real life trading specifically as a company going to be doing to enriching lives all around the world? So kind of the protocol tonight, this afternoon, today, whenever you're watching this video, for those who are here live, depends on where you are in the world, but it is noon o'clock Central, 1 Eastern. And Richard says, good evening from Ghana. Yes, I love it. So there's Richard's example of it's nighttime over there in Ghana. It is noon over here in Nashville, Tennessee. So my goal is just to give you guys a brief overview of what real life trading plans on doing in 2018. And then of course, just simply discussing and talking about the stock market, what it looks like, what stocks I'm most bullish on, what stocks I'm most bearish on, answer any questions, and just kind of rock out. And of course, I want to be happy to take testimonies, share about real life trading, answer any questions. We're going to be here for a while, probably at least a solid hour, hour and a half. Again, I'll be recording the whole thing, but if you have any questions, this is going to be a phenomenal time to ask them. I'm going to be talking about a lot, so if you need anything or have any questions, I am here to help. Let me just go over some of the pictures that you're looking at right now. This is the real life trading Christmas dinner that we had in Nashville just a week ago, and over 20 traders were there from Nashville. This is my buddy Roberto and his wife Sarah in New York City. This was the first real life trading cruise. That's Angie and Brad. This is Java, who's here, his girl Julia, myself in Germany. That was an amazing trip. This is Latoya, Jeffrey and his wife, and this is Boston, and of course you all know Brad, Prasad, Justin Linderman and his wife as well, and this is also the Nashville meetup, and this is me and Julie, who are also in Nashville. So just a great 2018 experience. Got to meet a lot of people. Let's talk about what's happening the upcoming month. Just kind of give you guys an idea of what's going down. Gordon says, good morning from New Zealand. Yes, I love it. We got a trader in New Zealand now. Woo! Awesome. Thanks for being here, Gordon. Let me kind of get an idea of what's happening in January. So January is going to be extra income month in 2018. As you all know, we have like a focus every single month, a little bit of an extra challenge, and the challenge will be coming up soon. But I am participating in something called the Wealth 365 Summit. This is going to be a very, very big deal. And you will all get links for this in your email. And if you ever have any questions, let me know. But this thing is a week long. And I'm going to be sending out emails about it, sending out links, but you have presenters on a wide array and vast subjects. Anything from cryptocurrencies to real estate investing to dealing with taxes to trust management. There's going to be a lot going on in this particular summit. I am presenting personally. I had the opportunity and the privilege to be a part of that. The gentleman who is hosting this is actually a new acquaintance and a good friend of mine named Rob Hoffman. I don't know if you guys know the name, but he is, I think he has won like 18 international trading competitions in a row. And me and him have been corresponding back and forth for the last few months. You guys all know who Jack Schwager is, the guy who wrote the Stock Market Wizards books. There are going to be a lot of big names at this particular summit. It's honestly an honor and a privilege to be a part of it. I'll be presenting on the 20th. So you all are going to get information about that, but letting you know that's right around the corner. There's going to be a lot of information there. Tons of presenters, just a good array to learn, to grow. I'm not the only person in the world that you can learn from. And I don't even remotely encourage you to only listen to me. There's other people out there in the world that have plenty of information to share. I'll be listening to the vast majority of people presenting. And, you know, it doesn't cost anything to attend. You know, so it is free. So that's cool. So you'll be getting a bunch of emails about that in the next few days, weeks, and hopefully you guys all enjoy that. But that's presented by Wealth 365. It's going to be a really fun summit, all online, of course, and presenters from all around the world. And then, I wish I had a drum roll. I don't have a drum roll, but here is the cool news. This is the one thing that most of you have been asking for about the last 6 months. It's that time of the year, and I think you all know what's coming next. Woo! The free week of real life trading. We only do this twice a year. This is where I get all of you into either the morning and or the afternoon room, whichever one you guys want to be a part of. It's open, the entire house, everything in real life trading is open for the world. Anyone who wants to be a part of it can be a part of it, and it is zero cost. This is us enriching lives. We're fronting the bill, and we're going to get you all into the morning room and the afternoon room. We're going to have the weekly option newsletter sent out to everybody. We're going to have the futures. Remember, we had a futures program just a month and a half or so ago. So we're going to have a text message alert program for the futures. A lot of you guys have been wanting and setting that up. So that's going to be the 22nd through the 26th. 22nd through the 26th. So I will be posting a link. In fact, let me just go ahead and do that now. For those who are here live, there's a few of you. I'm going to send out the link right now in the chat pane. I'm just going to give it to you. And like I said, we will be talking about stocks here in about, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes. So just bear with me. If you're here about stocks, it's coming. What stocks I'm most bullish on, all that kind of good stuff. But this is a big news. This is a really big announcement. 22nd through the 26th is going to be the free week, and I want all of you there. It's a big deal. We're going to make a lot of money together. We're going to trade together. We're going to mitigate risk together. We're going to follow our plans. We're going to learn new things. So in the chat pane, you have now just gotten the link for the morning day trading room. You can go ahead and begin registering right now. Now again, it doesn't start until January 22nd, but you can start registering at this exact moment in time. You can tell your friends. You can tell your family, you can tell your coworkers, you can start registering. It's entirely free. It's not going to cost you anything to get in there, to learn. I'm going to be there. You're going to learn from Brad. Brad's going to be there. Latoya, we might have a new trader to hear from named Blake. There's going to be just really tons and tons of things to take away from that particular week. I get about 6 emails a day saying, hey, Nick, Jeremy, I would love a free day or a free hour or a free week or a free trial into the room. We don't give free trials out, right? This is just, if you want to be in the room, most of the traders in the room are trading for a living. Inside of the room, that's how we make our money. So we offer it twice a year. The next time will be months from now, probably May or June, maybe even July. I don't know, but it's going to be sometime like half a year away. So if you want to get in there for free, feel free to. Marta says, thank you for your generosity. Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you for being here. Our goal is to enrich lives. I'm really excited about that. John Simcoe says, I saw the Wealth 365 Summit. Likely will attend some of that since I'm off. We'll look for your presentation. Beautiful. Yes, my presentation will be on Saturday, so I appreciate you saying that. Marios, my buddy, says, Green from Cyprus. What's going on, man? Jim says, Happy New Year, Jeremy. Thank you, man. Happy New Year to you. 2018, right around the corner. Really excited about that. Then, after that free week, This is something else that's really exciting. I've been working on it a lot. I don't know exactly how much I'm allowed to tell you, but I'm just going to go ahead and tell you anyway. I don't think I can get in trouble at this point. I was offered to create a particular program for another company. And they offered me a lot of money to teach this program. Five figures to teach a particular program. And the downside of the program was if I taught it, I'd have to sign a exclusive content agreement form, which is pretty much saying that I could only create this content for this particular company, and that'd be the only company that could have it for a certain time period. And I really thought it through. I was trying to decide if I was going to do that or not. So I decided not to. It was a hard choice to make. So what we're going to be doing is, for anyone who decides to continue trading with us in either of the trading rooms, if you have access to real life trading right now in either the morning or the afternoon trading rooms, and anyone who decides to join us, I will be teaching a cryptocurrency program January 29th through February 2nd. It's going to be at least 5 classes long. You guys have all been asking for it. It's going to be one of the most mind-blowing programs that's on the internet. The challenge is most people who are teaching cryptocurrencies right now, I've never heard of before. I don't even know who these people are. And that's not a good thing. Because if I haven't heard of you as a trader, and I'm not saying this braggadociously, I'm just saying if I have never heard of you, you're probably not that good. If I've never heard of you, you haven't been around that long. I've been actually trading Bitcoin since it was below $200. In that particular program, I'm going to be showing you all of my, most of my previous trades, all of my positions. I'm going to walk you through exchanges. I'm going to walk you through trading. It's going to be a phenomenal program. Most people, I've already taken a lot of other cryptocurrency programs and they're garbage. They're really bad. I'm a big fan of Bitcoin. I'm a big believer. I know I'm on the train talking about bubbles, value, intrinsic value, future value, what's its purpose, what's it going to do. But not only Bitcoin, we'll be talking Ethereum, Ripple, all that kind of good stuff, right? So there's going to be plenty of content there. It's going to be a phenomenal program. I really want all of you to be a part of that. I want you to tell your friends, I want you to tell your family about that as well. It's going to be a huge, huge program for anyone who is in either the morning or afternoon trading rooms. And it's going to be absolutely incredible. In fact, right now, as it stands at this exact moment in time, we already have, let me bring it over here, we already have a Slack channel at this exact moment in time. So we have real life traders and then we have real life cryptos. That was created about a month ago. And we are now, we're trading this inside of real life trading. I've been teaching people slowly and surely. The other reason I haven't come up with a class earlier, like I mentioned, number one, is because I was trying to debate if I was going to teach it for another program or not and just be the exclusive presenter for another company. They offered to pay me a lot of money for it. I just decided to turn it down. My thought was, I'll just go ahead and tell you guys, they offered to pay me 70 grand to teach the class. Just to teach it. $70,000 is how much they were going to offer me. And I said, this was about May of last year. No, not of last year. May 2017. So what's that? 6 months ago. I got offered that amount. And I said, if I can make that amount of money in the next 6 to 7 months on cryptos, then I'm just going to teach it for real life trading. The good news is I got very close to this number over the last 6 months. I haven't quite gotten it in cryptos, but I got close. So it's going to be real life trading. It's going to be awesome. You guys are going to enjoy it. Marios says, will you make a $59 for 2 months offer soon? Nope, that was a Black Friday thing that we sent out. Yeah, man, that was a once in a lifetime opportunity. I very, very, very rarely ever offer discounts, promotions, sales, right? Just like real life trading prices are a lot like a stock. They go higher often. They're going to keep going up. So we're just going to, our prices are going to keep going up, guys. So if you ever want to see the benefit, we all know the benefit. We all know the valuable opportunities that are there in front of us. Take advantage of them. Friends Month. It's going to be 2018. So we'll have some cool stuff in there. March, obviously, is Kids Month. A lot of people always get excited and pumped up about Kids Month, me especially. There's going to be a lot of challenges that I'm going to offer you in Kids Month of March 2018. That's this year upcoming. So that's going to be a really exciting month. That's where I go out and teach kids this stuff. Right? I'm going to teach kids about cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, stock market, options. You'd be surprised how much a kindergartner can learn about this stuff. And I love going out to classes and going in person and teaching kids. So March is going to be a fantastic month. April, just as a reminder, so Surprise Yourself Month, we do have the Real Life Trading Cruise. Real Life Trading Cruise. I do have some information on that. We announced that February of last year. Well, I keep saying last year. It's not last year yet. We announced this cruise in February 2017. And so if you want to go on the Real Life Trading Cruise, do it. It's really not that expensive. You can get an interior cabin for like 400 bucks. So it's April 23rd through the 28th. Again, if you want to go, there's a bunch of traders. They're going to be there. We'll talk trading. We'll talk investing. We'll have some drinks. We'll have a good time. We'll have some food. We'll chat. It'll be a phenomenal opportunity. So I would say if you want to go, we try to do one every single year. Here's some information. I'll copy and paste this link in just a second and put it in the chat pane. I also have a video on this and the Real Life Trading YouTube channel. So we're going to go to, it goes out of Miami. Going to go to Otos Rios, which is Jamaica. I've never been to Jamaica before. And we're going to go to Grand Cayman Islands. And again, why are we doing this? Because we want to celebrate an amazing trading year. You can bring your spouses, significant others, family, kids. It's a cruise. It's up to you. Have fun. If you want to go and never talk to me on the entire time, that's also fine. It's just whatever you want to do, feel free to go for it. This is a travel agent that I've worked with in the past. If you want to copy down any of that information, you're welcome to. And again, you don't have to have a travel agent. If you want to just do it all yourself, that's totally cool. If you have your own agent, that's totally fine. I'm not getting paid to promote this cruise. I'm just going on it, and I'm just letting you know what's in store for 2018. That's pretty much it. Just letting you know I like to have a good time. I like to get out there and enjoy the weather. Let me give you guys this link really quick. I'm going to put that in the chat pane. Again, if you're watching this in the recording, if you want that, let me know. I can also send you the YouTube video that we posted back in February with that information as well. Adrian says, make it so that it's tax-deductible business expense. Exactly. Yes, we will be talking trading. We will be discussing, legitimately, trading-related information will go down on this cruise. Of that, I can assure you. Probably 12 hours a day. We're just going to be chatting markets until your face falls off and you're tired of talking stocks. That's probably what's going to happen. Okay. Oops, what did I click on? I clicked on the link. Sorry. I didn't mean to do that. All right. Then May is going to be Health and Wellness Month. There is going to be a potential Montreal meetup May the 4th. I've been planning to go to Montreal. I love Montreal. I was there last year. My birthday is May 2nd, and my good buddy Roberto and his wife Sarah, they want to hang out with me on my 30th birthday, and I've been kind of planning on going up to Montreal anyway. So I will be in Canada on the 4th of May. That's not in stone yet, but it's pretty close. So just kind of get your schedules arranged. There's a lot of traders in Montreal, or at least the Montreal area. Last time I was up there, I had a blast. It's a really good time. Job says, you're also a Taurus. Wow, yeah. Me and my good buddy Tim Walbridge were talking about that. Type in a 1 if your birthday is in May. There's a lot of people here who were born in May. I know Stephen King is. I think Johnny Guarco is. Miss Francois C's, nice. Frank Doyle, I like it. Marx is going to Canada, eh? Yeah, absolutely. I've been to Canada a few times. I love Toronto. But this is just in Montreal. I'll do Toronto at some point in time, I'm sure. I think I'm going to travel just a little bit less in 2018 than 2017. 2017, I think I took, I was in either a new city or a new country every 2 weeks. It was a lot of traveling last year, seeing a lot of traders. I'm still going to travel a lot, but maybe just, you know, one place a month. Something like that, rather than 3 or 4 places a month. It was fun. Anyway, that's May. That's an idea of what May looks like. June is going to be Nature Month as usual. July is Sports Month. August will be Volunteer Month, and then September is Real Estate Month. What I'm planning on September, I talked to some traders about this earlier, and they said they're kind of want to do this. We're gonna make it happen. I'm gonna do a Nashville trading retreat of some kind in September. The exact dates are gonna be determined. It's gonna be about 12 traders, potentially. So there's a lot of traders who live in Nashville. The prices, all that stuff is gonna be determined. It's really gonna be very affordable. It's not gonna be like a $10,000 thing, I can assure you of that. The goal is we're gonna get an awesome crib. We're gonna get about 12 traders, including myself, obviously, and we're gonna do trading. We're gonna do one-on-one coaching, team coaching, back trading, portfolio reviews, whatever the price will be. It'll probably be 500 or something, 400, but that's gonna include food. It's gonna include the stay. It's gonna include trading. My goal is when you're here that you literally pay for your trip and then some, meet a lot of traders. It's gonna be a really fun experience. Of that I can assure you. So just kind of start marking your dates around September. I'm going to make that happen. It will happen. Tickets will probably go on sale May or June time frame. Once we get all the details figured out, but you can start kind of getting an idea that that will be happening in 2018. People have been asking for it, you know, hanging out, trading by the campfire, going hiking, talking trading, just having a good time, and trading together as a team. That's going to be, you know, a very fun experience. So I think that'll be, we're going to make it happen. So anyway, that'll be September. So you can start kind of marking your calendars for that. Jesse says, sign me up. Sandra says, so cool. Yeah, it'll be fun. There's also about 12 traders who live in Nashville who will be joining us. So it'll probably be like 20 traders in one place. They just won't be staying there. You know, so there'll be different ticket items. You know, it's like, hey, if you want to get your own hotel and stay somewhere else, we'll have different things, but it'll be very reasonably priced, and it's going to be an incredible time. September is a great weather in Nashville, as Sandra was saying. So anyway, then you have October's Generosity Month, November, Nom de Plume, and then December is Declutter Month. So those are the only exact dates that I have planned as of right now. But overall, the big one, the one that everyone's gonna be really excited about, obviously, is the free week and the cryptocurrency program. That's the one that's most relevant. That's the one that's right around the corner. So it's gonna be an exciting time. That's just weeks away. And I will say, for anyone who is, and I'll just let you all know, it's not really that much of a surprise. For anyone who is saving up for some type of special deal, there will be a special price reduction during the free week, as usual. So if you're waiting to get into the trading room until then, you want to save 20 bucks or something a month, there will be a price reduction. It'll be a very good price reduction. It'll be very fair. There will be a lot that's going to come with it. And yeah, so if you're waiting, it's right around the corner. But get in for free for the week. Tell everyone that you want. I want to enrich lives across the world, folks. The amount of progress and growth that I saw traders experience in 2017 was just amazing. Was incredible. In fact, just some of the testimonies, people paying off credit card bills, student loans, mortgages. I paid off my mortgage last year. I'm entirely debt-free now, like zero debt of any kind, of any kind, of any kind. That was an amazing, that was a huge hurdle for me to finally get to. In 2017, a lot of other traders did that with me. There's a lot of other things I want to create in 2018. I want to create some type of real-life trading boot camp. I want to create some type of real-life trading business ventures. There's going to be a lot of things coming down the pike, folks. I have tons of ideas, tons of implementation. A lot of things are going to change in 2018. Real life trading will grow. We will get bigger. We will get better. We'll have more really cool, nifty things that we're going to improve on. And I just want you all to be a part of it. Any questions before we dive into the stock portion of this webinar and just chat stock market stuff? Gabriella says, how does private coaching work? I'm a newbie and I've been cruising your YouTube channel. I'd love to get private coaching and be a profitable trader at some point. You're the best, Jeremy. Happy New Year. Thanks, Gabrielle. Appreciate those kind words. If you don't mind emailing me, Gabriella, my private coaching is, the best way for me to explain it is it's very personalized. When I do private coaching, it's not about me, it's about what do you want out of it? Who are you as a person? What are you trying to accomplish? How old are you? How much money do you have? What kind of goals you have? And what do you want to do? And then we kind of tailor a plan. We come up with some goals. So just email me. It's a phenomenal experience. I love one-on-one coaching almost more than anything else in the world because you have a direct impact on somebody's life, and me and them, we grow together. I do not have many openings because I only accept, every single trader that I work with has my personal cell phone number, and we chat back and forth. We text pretty often, so I only do, about 2 or 3 a month. And so I have a gentleman coming up in January. We're going to do some coaching together. But yeah, just email me, jeremy@reallifetrading.com, if that's cool. And me and you will schedule something that works for you, like on your time frame. That's my email address. But I appreciate you asking, Gabriella. Thank you for watching my YouTube channels, and thanks for being an amazing person. First thing we're going to start off with is I want to look at the broader markets. And I'm just going to kind of cover big picture, big perspective while the market is still open. What the heck do I think the market will do in 2018, 2019? So just kind of big picture perspective. So first of all, I'm going to zoom out here to the weekly chart. This is the SPY. And there were some really big key events in 2017. First of all, something that was a really big deal. This has never happened before. Unless something drastically changes, which is possible. But over the next, 2.5 hours, this is the S&P 500 monthly total returns. And this was the only year in history so far that every single month was profitable, including March. March was barely, right? But this was the first year in history that all 12 months are green. Is that kind of cool or what? That is a very interesting historical tidbit. So what year is this? Let's go back a little bit. This was, trying to find the most recent one that was the strongest. Back in 2006, you can see, this is 2006, we had a bunch of green months. You had one bearish month, and then the rest were bullish. This is a strong indication of continued growth higher, in my opinion, at least for the next year or two. Here's realistically my thoughts on the market going forward. Obviously, no market can last like this forever. 2016 was strong, had a lot of volatility. 2017, incredible year. I see there's only 2 ways this plays out, and here's my 2 ways. Either A, SPY is pretty choppy, the general markets are pretty choppy and sideways in 2018, and then we have an incredible 2019. So by the way, I'm not bearish at all, so if you guys know. I don't think the market comes crumbling down by any means. I think we could pull back. I think we could see something like we got in 2015. That is a possibility. Or we get some crazy volatility. That makes the most sense to me. But with the tax cut that happened, a lot of these huge companies are going to see their bottom line much better now. With the tax cut, it's a pretty solid steroid injection into the stock market, and at least in my opinion. And so from here, I think it's just a matter of time before we go higher. So the question is, do we pull back in 2018, which I think is the most likely event? We either pull back sharply for a week or two and then we go higher. So something like this, some type of really quick month or two drop, and then it's a very good buying opportunity. This is the most likely event on the SPY. Something like this. Which is why in these levels, depending on your age and how much time you have to either to retirement or before retirement or what your positions are in, you can have protective puts. You can see right here that's a trigger for some protective puts on the SPY, just to protect yourself if the market does have a giant crash in 2018, specifically January, right at the end of the year, kind of like what happened in 2016 January. Remember that? At the end of the year, people started selling. You had a very, very quick drop in January, and then we bounced due to tax sellings and people locking in profits and end of year selling and all that kind of good stuff. I think that's a possibility. We have a quick drop. I do think that drop is very much buyable. I do not think at all this is the top of the market. In fact, as your resident perma bull, we have a lot of growth ahead of us. Check out this consolidation. A lot of people that are calling the market a bubble, for some odd reason, they're not really factoring in this gorgeous consolidation. I mean, this is right at 2 years of sideways movement. Actually, a little bit more than 2 years. So this right here is absolutely healthy. You had a phenomenal distribution phase. We traded sideways, we broke out, we came back and retested that level and just crushed it. That is a very healthy pattern. Everything about that is fine. So this looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, wave 5 of some kind, where 1 year at some point we'll have like that ABC correction. And it will either be, which I personally think 2018, next year will be a relatively choppy year. Kind of sideways to bullish, a lot of credit spread implementation, a lot of theta, taking advantage of theta with options, right? Covered calls, bull put spreads, sideways choppiness. Something that looks, if I had to kind of compare it to a market time frame, again, I'm not saying the market's going to crash by any specific measure, but I could compare it to something like this, right? Where we had this nice distribution phase, we traded sideways, we broke out, we continued higher, and we're either here or here in just the general cycle of waves. So we're about to either have a little bit of a pullback, something small, but then we do go higher. That's my realistic thought in 2018 on the SPY. We didn't get any pullback, any retracement at all year, no down months, all year. It has to happen. Right, just a matter of time. So my thought on the SPY, we probably trade sideways, chop around a little bit 2018, and then 2019 is a really good, another solid year higher. We're going to keep going. Unless we go to war, which, I don't know exactly who we would go to war with, but if it's a major war, like an actual war, crazy world war, unless there's some kind of huge issue that comes up, which is always a possibility, right? I mean, it is life, anything is possible. At these levels, I think it's very healthy. We trade sideways and go higher. That's choice number 1. Choice number 2, we keep it up. We keep going higher and we just don't stop. And then we have a little bit bigger of a drop end of 2018, early 2019, some type of 10, 20% drop. And then again, we probably go higher. So whatever big dip does occur, the sideways momentum, the sideways move, be patient if you're in the longer term, IRAs, stocks, mutual funds, whatever you're in. I think just be patient through that pullback. It won't be pretty. It won't be super exciting, but I think it would be absolutely 100% unequivocally buyable. It's a very, very strong trend. And if we go to a monthly chart on the SPY, I mean, what we really have to take away with at this point is if we do pull back, and we have any kind of monstrous pullback, there is very obvious levels that we're going to stop at on the SPY. So let's say we get something massive, which would be, this would be 20% right here, from 266 to 220 and some change. I think that would be a very buyable event. Again, will that happen? It could. Is it going to? Probably not anytime soon. right? Again, with the tax cut, that's a big deal. It's going to help out these huge corporations massively. And with the net neutrality thing, I'm excited. I don't know if excited is the right word, but I'm interested to see how the other big companies, the internet companies, Comcast, a lot of the communication companies take advantage of that net neutrality passing or potentially going through, and seeing how that's going to play out and how that's going to affect the market. This is, I think, worst case scenario. Marta said, is it true that trading is halted if there's a 20% drop? In one day, yes, trading would be halted. If it dropped that far in one day, the circuit breakers would turn on. Last time I think we got that type of drop was in 1987. That was in just one day. So that's the crazy thing about the market. I mean, people are talking about technology and high frequency trading, but guys, that happened in 87. Right? You don't need high frequency traders and algorithms and robots for the market to just randomly crash. You just get some random panic selling, and once it hits 1% down, 2% down, and 3% down, if it hits 3% down in a day, then everyone starts freaking out. People start worrying and they start selling to lock in a profit, especially in an environment like this, right? When you're at all-time highs, the 1%, 2%, 3% in a day very easily can happen. And once it starts breaking, 4, 5, 6, then people just start, again, selling and selling and selling. It becomes almost like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But here on the screen, I think this is worst case scenario for the SPY. Worst case scenario, we pull all the way back to about 220, where we, again, at that point, it's a very good, very buyable dip. And what a lot of analysts at that point will say is, okay, it's a very clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that. So I am bullish going forward. I'm not a perma bear by any means. I think the market, if it does have a drop, will be a healthy drop. I think it would be realistic. I think it would be called for. The trend is very bullish, and I think it would be a buyable event. How big would the drop be? I mean, in a day, nothing too crazy, I don't imagine. We don't have like a black swan event. But at these levels, if you are doing any kind of put sales or bull put spreads, just make sure it's on, if it's on an individual stock, you have room for the stock to pull down or for the market to pull down. This is the SPY today. And if we're just looking at a daily chart, what's very interesting about this gap is we gapped up right to resistance. Same exact spot we were, and we're going to sell a little bit. So if we get a small double top, trade down, again, all the dips, when the market pulls back, I'll be looking at buying them for either the SPY, the broader markets, or individual stocks. I don't see any rational reason right now that the market just absolutely tanks. Again, market can do anything at any particular time. But all of these moving averages, trend looks good. It's hard to argue. We haven't even pulled down to the 20 or the 50 yet. So that's why I think if we do get this pullback, I will be the person attempting to getting that dip buying opportunity happening. So that's kind of my thoughts on the SPY. Any questions, just broader market, and then what we're going to do is kind of hop into some stocks that some people requested. I will be happy to look at your stocks that you want to request if you want me to look over something. We're going to look over a good period of stocks. I'll look at stocks that I'm very bullish on and stocks that I'm bearish on. Felipe and Ant says, is the Slack channel only for real life trading members? That is correct. Yep. Marta says, what about the NASDAQ? Let's hop over to the NASDAQ. NASDAQ. Marta says, historically, January is best. I'm trying to figure out if I should do the index or if I just do the index is fine. So here's the index. Again, it looks very, very similar to the SPY and to the S&P. Right, you got that nice little consolidation. Again, very, very good trend. If January in the markets, if we just continue higher, keep holding. Trade into some targets and start peeling off profits at some point. Again, it depends on your time frame and your investment strategy. At this point, it's all time frame. When I say time frame is going to equal how long do you want to be in your position, right? Is it a retirement? Is it an investment? Right? Are you 30 or are you 70? So those are the questions you have. If you're 30, 40, 50, in my personal non-licensed opinion, everything is fine. Whatever dip happens, just keep holding through that. You know, if you're getting closer to retirement or you're already retired, with markets at these levels, you're probably peeling off some of your positions. You're probably getting mostly in cash. I have a trader from California. Me and him were chatting last night. He's 68. He'll be 69 in May. And he is in 75% cash. His brother's in 75% cash. So not all of it, but all he's waiting for is a little bit of a dip, and then he'll start adding more to it. So on the NASDAQ, if we keep going higher, if you're in tech stocks and we keep going higher, I do anticipate most stocks to continue going bullish. I think 2018 we will have some type of dip, either in January or February, something of that nature. And then the sell in May and go away thing could be very reasonable, right? We have a good dip, and then we trade higher into May, and then that would be a good place to lock in some profits. The trend right now is very bullish. If you are getting into something bullish now, it needs to be something that has gotten beat up a little bit, right? So make sure if you're getting into something that's not at an all-time high, highest it's ever been, has never been higher, and now you finally get in, make sure it's at a nice lower price. And I will be looking through some of those in this particular session. So what we're gonna do, let's go through some of the big names. I did get a few requests for a few weeks ago for this particular webinar. If you have a request, I'll do my best to write it down and get to it, but let me just kind of go through the big names, and then we'll go through some stocks that you guys are just interested in. Apple. So I think it's almost a non-event that Apple gets to 200 this year, 2018. I can almost guarantee that's going to happen. Trend looks phenomenal. This is the weekly chart right here. Let me just hide some of my previous drawings for just a moment. And again, this is the nice trend. This was an incredible time to go bullish on Apple back in here, 2016, right? You got that gorgeous pullback, new all-time highs, right? Broke through the previous all-time high, retested it, and then continued higher. Then you got a bigger retest, consolidate down here, and again, a phenomenal time to get in bullish on Apple. So now, here's a previous all-time high right there. Here's a previous all-time high, and then here's a previous all-time high. So at this juncture, we'll probably, on Apple, chop around in this general vicinity, something like this, for another 2 or 3 months, till earnings probably. And then eventually we'll break out, even if we pull back. If we pull back on Apple into the 50 EMA on the weekly, which we still haven't done even yet until back here. If we don't bounce off of that, very, very similar to here and here, we will go lower, right? If we do not bounce off the 50 on the weekly on Apple. So you can use that as a very strong indicator for how high we continue going. As long as we stay above that price, right? The last two big drops we got, we broke through that 50 EMA pretty easily on the weekly chart. So as long as we're staying above there, I truly believe that Apple gets to 200. If you're in shares, keep holding. It's the most powerful, biggest, most cash efficient company in the world. A lot of people are saying they haven't come out with anything new for a while. They don't have to at this point. I mean, they're Apple. Whatever product they do come up with, people buy in the droves. They had some semi-bad news about China, right? Got a little bit of a gap down. Wasn't a super bullish gap by any means. It was actually a pretty bearish gap. But you got the 50 EMA right here kind of propping it up. So bull put spreads, put sales, owning some shares on Apple going forward makes sense. Here's Amazon. And Amazon looks right now, short term, like we're going to consolidate a little bit more. You got some higher lows, you got some lower highs. I still think Amazon goes higher, and my 2018 probably Q2 target is 1282 on Amazon. Had some big targets last year that we just continue to crush. We got to them. I'm going to plan on pulling up some charts, but here's Amazon. And again, if you follow me on TradingView, you can follow these all for free, but this was, trying to go back to the most recent one. So this is back in June. I think I actually had one in April too, so I'm going to go look at April after I pull up to June. It's going to take just a second to load. But these were some 2000 targets. I mentioned the red line would be Amazon's kind of a bubble at that point. but the purple line, it would be a healthy continuation. So if I press the play again, this was in June. I'm going to scroll back a little bit. It did do the purple line, as you guys can see. So again, I drew this a month and a half before it occurred. I drew it in the afternoon swing trading room. You'll notice it traded up, it traded down to the exact price. I was off by about 2 weeks. I was a freehand drawing, by the way, on Amazon. And when it traded back down here, a lot of people got in bullish, and then it traded up to its next target, the 2017 target, and then it went lower. Where did it go? It went right back to that exact same support that people bought off of it before. So that was just an example of Amazon and the analysis on Amazon back in June. This was June 13th of this year. And then some of the more recent, this was October 30th. And I was mentioning based on that gap, right? This is all based on the earnings gap, early 2018 or late 2017. This is still kind of my target. So if I press the button, again, the play button, you can see we've already traded to the first fib. I know it's a little hard to see, but we've already traded to the first target, and that's where we're getting this resistance. So we're going to trade sideways for a while. The next target, 1282, and then I think the possibility of getting up to 1600 by the end of the year, end of 2018, quarter 3, quarter 4 on Amazon, very doable. So I think Amazon continues slowly going higher. Most of the tech stocks I'm bullish on. Facebook, I expect Facebook to slowly grind higher, likely reaching 200 at some point in 2018. Very good longer term, just buy low, sell high, put sales, bull put spreads, be bullish, own shares, do covered calls. Be patient with Facebook, it just takes its time. Facebook right now owning Instagram and WhatsApp, right? So between Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, you're controlling, what was that, 85% of the world population in regards to where they're at on their social media. That's a really big deal. So I think Facebook eventually just slowly grinds higher, also probably reaching 200 almost assuredly in 2018. It could probably pull back or trade sideways a little bit longer. Like I said, so bull put spreads, put sales. Most of my analysis for 2018 will probably be some credit spread opportunities because 2017 was an incredible year for just owning shares and doing call options, right? Being bullish. Nothing lasts forever, so we're going to probably trade sideways for a bit. On some of these tech stocks, let the market rest, right? Might be kind of boring for the first few months, but that is exciting news for option traders. Google, I love Google long term. If I had $1 million more, I'd have a lot of that $1 million into Google. Big fan of the company. This one also hit my 2017 target. Had a lot of stocks that did that. Marta will be looking at Netflix momentarily. So Google, let me try to go back to targets here. Try to go back to the last target that I created. So I guess it's this one right here. So this is back in July 24 of this year, obviously 2017. This is just my analysis on Google. Obviously it had earnings, and it's all about how the earnings gap happened. So the earnings gapped down into that red zone. So you can see based on that gap, right? Again, this is all for free on TradingView. I post these charts and they play out. This is the analysis that we do in the afternoon swing trading room, morning trading rooms, and very, very beneficial. So gapped into the red area, trade down to the green zone, which is the buying zone, right? So it'd be bearish into the green, and that was a phenomenal time to go long. My 2017 target on Google was 1083.72. So we pretty much got there. We didn't hit it exactly, but that's about $2 off on Google for the ultimate 2017 target. So since the market closes today in 2017, I don't think we're going to quite get there. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was about to say, we did hit it. Yeah, there we go. I had to press the play button again. It was stuck. I was like, wait a minute, this is not accurate. We did hit it. There we go. So, perfect. And it started pulling back at that exact price. Pretty cool. Again, that's some of the analysis that I bring to real life trading, and for you guys in the trading rooms, I spend hours and hours a day working on this to make sure that you are all better traders, make sure that you're all profitable. I'm going to brag a little bit. I can do some amazing things with charting, and I want to help each and every one of you be able to see what I see, and I'm very confident I can do that. So anyway, Google, very nice trade on Google. Let's go hop over to Netflix. So Netflix, I mean, as far as the news is concerned, there's no real news. It's just at a really good support level. So this blue line, Marta, is the 100 simple moving average on the daily chart. Just a good support. So on Netflix, we have traders, real life traders have been absolutely dominating Netflix in 2017. Dean, I think, has ended up doing approximately 20 put sales on Netflix in 2017 and didn't get to put shares one time. Bull put spreads, call options, longer term share ownership. My girlfriend actually has some shares of Netflix. She bought it back here at this very obvious, very easy to see double bottom on Netflix. In fact, we can go back to some of the, let's go back to some of the charts on Netflix and kind of talk about what we were looking at a few months ago. John says, what do you think of Comcast? We're looking at Comcast. I'll put it on the notes for today. I hate the company. I don't think anyone likes Comcast, but let me go back to Netflix. Okay, so I think this is back all the way into April. So we're gonna look at a few of these on Netflix, and again, just kind of bring into the forefront that the analysis I work on works. You had 162 and 185. So again, this was back in April of this year. This analysis, we're looking at the trade, traders doing put sales, bull put spreads. That was Dean all the way back in April. And so let me zoom this chart forward a little bit. And again, just check out some of this analysis. No one's gonna get anything to the exact penny every time. But this is right when it hit that target, it had that little pullback, trade to that target again, and then again crashed into this support. Very easy buying spot, by the way, on Netflix down here. That was just a clear, very easy, simple, old resistance, new support. There wasn't anything special about that. And then again, check out this 2017 target. 2017 target, I said probably, was 185. We hit that, and within pennies, what did we do? We traded back down to old resistance, new support again. So you hit the target, traded right back down to the next one, and then bounced again from there. So my thoughts on Netflix, oops, I didn't mean to close that. Shoot. So my thoughts on Netflix, we probably more than likely just continue to chop around and trade sideways. At this point on Netflix, you have a very, very good resistance at 202. Once that gets taken out, you have a little bit of a double bottom kind of forming right here with some good volume. You'll see this note down here about 3 or 4 days ago. Before the news came in, Marta, on this day, we posted a 160, 155 February bull put spread, which is over earnings, but it's down here. And that's a 10% return, approximately 32 points away from where Netflix is right now. So it's pretty safe. Dean has a put sale expiring in 2 weeks. So again, another one. And I think the Netflix eventually breaks 202 and we just continue going higher. This is a very nice bounce off the 100 simple. We may or may not have bounced off the 100 simple before with a kind of a double bottom type of pattern. So if we can do that again, I think eventually we'll break 202, it'll trade back down, we'll retest, and I think Netflix continues higher. They're putting out some great original content. Content is king. I don't see why Netflix stops. Comcast, I mean, as far as Comcast goes, if I want to relate something to being bad, I always compare it to Comcast. The stock price and the stock itself, powerful. Hard to argue. Buy the dip. They're going to benefit a lot from the net neutrality thing. Of that, I'm pretty confident. As a very nice big company type of beneficiary from that ruling. So I think Comcast will benefit from that. As far as the actual company itself, I kind of loathe and despise Comcast. Their customer service is pretty much equivalent to talking to a stick. But looking at the stock, it doesn't lie. The trend is bullish. If you're playing Comcast, buy the dip. The dip, by the way, happened about 3 weeks ago, down here into the 100 simple moving average on a weekly chart. Again, when you're doing longer term analysis, I mean, just look how clear we bounce off of that. Just gorgeous buying opportunity on Comcast. So that's kind of my thoughts on that one, John. Recently, right now, if we come up here, you have kind of some lower highs on Comcast. So that's a little, very slightly concerning. So if we pull back down into 35, 36, I think it would be viable again. And if it breaks out higher above that, I would just think it would kind of continue up. Angie says, how can Comcast be as crappy in Nashville as it is in California? At least they're consistent, right? Very true. Very true. At least they're consistently bad. You know what you're getting. Very, very good point. All right, so we looked at Google, Amazon, Facebook. We can obviously look at Alibaba, and then we'll go through a few more. We have about 30 minutes left, by the way. We're just going to go through stocks at this point. Alibaba, at this level, I truly think is going to distribute for a while. We're going to distribute for a good period of time. So here's the weekly chart. I'm just going to hide everything for a second. Let me just hide all of my drawings. And, okay, there we go. So this is the weekly chart of BABA, and you'll notice we had a monumentally monstrous breakout above that IPO resistance level. You had a very pretty double bottom down here. Good close above the neckline and a good retest of the neckline. Kind of shocking, but looks beautiful. Once you broke above that level, we retested. So this is some type of some type of 1, 2, 3, 4 wave that we're getting on BABA right now. So I think BABA eventually goes higher, without question. I'm not worried about that at all. We'll probably consolidate for a good few more months, in my opinion. 2 or 3 more months of sideways action. Here was the last posting of BABA that I did. BA, and this is kind of the most recent one, at least, or one of the most recent ones. So this was the bull put spread that I posted December 19th, but this is the one on November 29th. So, you know, a month ago. I was like, I think that we're about to enter a 2 to 6 month distribution phase / channel. Buy low, sell high, and then later in 2018 she reaches 300. I think that's very plausible. I'm pretty bullish on BABA for the year. It's just going to chop around for a bit longer. So this purple line, it's not off terribly. I got this rotation almost to the day and the penny right there. So this rotation simply stipulates that we're going to go about another week or so before we get a little bit of a pop. Then we're going to get another little pop, and they're going to get another little pop. We're going to continue to trade sideways in here for a bit. So again, knowing that is powerful. Right now the trend is sideways. So again, you can see Niels with some put sales. Again, with the market at all-time high levels after a historic, never-before-seen year on the S&P, it would make sense for us to get a little bit of a pullback. So if you're doing any kind of credit spread trades, do not be chasing this trend. Make sure it's on a stock that is resting, trading sideways, and has already kind of pulled back some. So that's kind of my thoughts on BABA. Some of your questions. So Marta says, if we were in the morning trading room, do we get help with entering trades? Do we enter with possibility with you or with others, or is the room for exchanging ideas but no trade alerts? It's a very valid question. I would say this pretty cleanly, and the room would be absolute garbage if I did not help traders enter trades. Let me put it to you as cleanly and as obviously as I can. In my opinion, real life trading is designed to be the greatest trading room of all time. So if you ever thought, I wonder what I would like in a trading room, we do that. Whatever that is. Other than me going to your house and pressing the buy button for you, we do everything else. So we absolutely offer massive advice, even on day trades, minutes, sometimes hours sometimes if I'm really good, days before a day trade happens or a swing trade. So yes, it's a very exclusive feel. It is nonstop high energy. It is constant helping. Our goal is to not brag about how much money we're making and show you cool pictures of cars and girls in bikinis. Our objective is to enrich lives, and we do that by ensuring that traders enter great trades and mitigate risk very well. So that's just kind of my thought. Does that answer your question, Marta? But yes, come to the free room. The way the free room is the way we always are. We don't change anything. We go a little bit slower, if you will, but other than that, it is a fantastic room, and everyone who has been a part of it has liked it. Kimberly says, has Slack members have answered all of my questions I've had? I love it. Yes, yes, yes. So it's a very, very helpful community. So again, as part of your real life trading access, you do get access into Slack, which is just, this is the communicable, chatting, social media part of the program, right? This is where you can post pictures and talk and have a good time and, you know, chat with other traders from around the world. So, beautiful stuff. Mila says, love the community. We love having you. You're an amazing contribution. Thanks for being there, Mila. Neil says, FYI, have another BABA put expiring today at 170. So let me turn my drawings back on. 170. Hey, nice. Nicely done, Niels. So 170, that will expire worthless. Well done, brother. Well done. Okay, so that's BABA. So I got a few more stocks we're going to look at. I'm not quite done yet, but let me answer Marta's question. Marta says, I'm in search of a high-quality group of experts. I've been in 2 rooms. One was full of profanities and very condescending. The other was people trading covered calls but not knowing anything about it. I'm looking for a room that's very supporting, intelligent, and not answering questions every second if I hadn't made 100% yet. No, we're not like that. I probably know the exact room you're talking about, Marta. Yeah, that's not really my style. So the answer is yes. That's why I created real life trading. We're just different and better than everyone else. We have a little bit of a different flair. And again, this is just an opinion, but I can say it because, you know, it's my company. And I think Angie and everyone else would agree. We created real life trading for the 35 and over trader. Right? If you're younger than 35, you can still be a part of real life trading, but we don't really talk about, you know, martinis and bikinis and Lamborghinis. It's not really our focus. We're more about the retirement, cash protection, creating income to create a legacy for your family. That's really what we're more focused on. That's just kind of our feel, our flow. That's how I like to approach it. Richard says, turning 35 in January. Perfect! I love it. Lita says, when is the free week? The 22nd through the 26th of January. Mila says, looks like you found it. All right, Marta. I'm pumped. Really excited. All right, so we have a few more. I'm gonna start going a little bit faster because I got about 30 minutes left. I don't want to hold you guys up for too long. So now let me start turning on the jet boosters just a little bit. Let's go look at McDonald's. Ticker symbol MCD. McDonald's, very strong trend. I do have an ultimate target on McDonald's for 194.64 this year. I think it could absolutely make it. This trend that occurred in 2017 was actually kind of comical. I think we can get another pullback to 156. I think that's very plausible. Makes a lot of sense on McDonald's. In fact, I'm trying to remember if I already have that drawn. Let me just go see. And if I don't, I will post that and we'll move on to the next one. By the way, if you do like posting stocks and you do like requesting stocks, that's what we do in the afternoon trading room and the morning trading rooms. We look at your stocks that you request. So this particular webinar, we have a limited amount of time because it's in the middle of the day, and I know some of you guys are at work and you have kids and things like that. You have lives. So you know, got about 30 minutes left. But for the other trading rooms, I mean, I pump out hours of content every day, and we're just trading together. This was the last analysis of McDonald's. Check out this wave rotation. Look at that, folks. I mean, come on. I mean, can I go back? Let me go back. Let me just play that one again. This was September 6th, by the way. Look at how well this pink line, this was a hand-drawn line by Mr. Squiggles. I contracted him out. And my goal was, again, for it to trade down. And this is what? What type of trend strategy is this? Buy the dip. It's that simple. Don't be bearish. So, buying the dip, trend pulls back, phenomenal bullish entry. Look at that. Vincent says, I turned 35 years ago. Do I qualify? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we have a few traders who are over the 65 mark. So absolutely, if you're retired or you have any friends who are retired, real life trading is the place to be, because again, that's kind of that's really the demographic. I trade and focus and help traders who are fully retired, sitting around, have some cash on the side, and looking to trade. That's absolutely, so yeah, Vincent, you totally qualify. So anyway, that was McDonald's. I do not have a new posting of McDonald's, so let me post the new one. And again, folks, here it is. This is what I think McDonald's is going to do. Same exact rotation. MCD, bullish trends, buy the dip. Just my thoughts, buy low, sell high. So does this mean that it has to pull back? No, but if you are in shares or options or something on McDonald's, and you want to lock in some profit or protect yourself, or at least in that situation, you have an idea of what to expect. A lot of times when I draw these lines, right, when I create this setup, this is so that when the stock does this, you are more comfortable with that rotation. That's really why I do this, especially for my traders who do have longer term positions, shares, right? If you want to own McDonald's for the next 5 years, that's cool. The reason I draw this setup right here is so that when it pulls back, you don't freak out and you don't worry. All right, this pullback is saying, hey, I expected it, I anticipated it, it's pulling back, this is a comfortable thing, don't stress about it that much, it's okay. Was pretty much the approach to that. So anyway, that's my thoughts on McDonald's. Again, I'm gonna turn on some turbo boosters. Got a few more stocks to look at, and we're gonna look at some more. Wells Fargo, had a few people request Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo is going to be a bank stock to keep your eyes on. As much negative news and problems that they had, what we have to factor in when they did the whole fraudulent account setup, I mean, that got swept under the rug in a blissfully beautiful way. And the crazy part is, it was a retest of the previous 2007 crash high. Right, so there was the high of that 2007, I'm sorry, I said 2007, 2009 weird market crash thing that had happened. You guys probably remember that. You might have heard of it before. All we did was retest that as old resistance, new support. So even though, yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, lawsuits, things going all across the board, people freaking out, people losing their job, getting fired, Wells Fargo recovered from that. This is one of, there's only a few banks, I think off the top of my head, 4, that have broken above their 2008 highs. I think JP Morgan, off the top of my head, I could probably look at them. JP Morgan and Wells Fargo, I know, are 2. Those are strong. Wells Fargo was one of the stronger banks before the 2007-2008 debacle. And it has now made new all-time highs, and I think it's going to continue to go higher. So on Wells Fargo, a little bit of a pullback into here, and then a little bit of a buying opportunity, I think is a sensational way to approach it. I have to look at that, Lita. Let me check that out in just a second. I've not heard of that one. So that's my thoughts on Wells Fargo. I like that as a bank. A lot of the bank sectors, I think, look pretty strong. Again, with the whole tax thing. Here's the JP Morgan, since I was mentioning it. And JP Morgan, again, is just cranking out. Another one of the stocks is broken above and retesting its all-time highs back here in 2015. And again, it's just a strong, unquestionable trend. When you're trading, that's one of the things that you want, is to be able to find a really strong trend. I like JP Morgan, I like Wells Fargo. There are 2 of the banks. I believe Capital One Finance has 2. Yep, Capital One, COF, has also now broken above these highs. This is a huge deal. This is very big. So make sure when you're looking through your looking through the banks, make sure they've broken out of some of these resistance levels, because any pullbacks, in my opinion, look really viable. And at this point, it's kind of unquestionable how the trend looks. Here's another kind of smaller approach to play. Is KEY, Key Corporation. Now, this one in particular has not broken its 2008 highs. But what I do like about it is the trend looks pretty comfortably bullish. You have a very nice support resistance right here, and that acted as a glorious old support new resistance level. And KEY, just a strong trend, good move, good bullishness to it. So this is the monthly chart on KEY. Here is the daily chart, and my plan on this one is to kind of get into a pullback and use some protective puts. Protective puts are going to be a big key in 2018, because I do think it's going to chop around. They were created for the longer term investor, right, as insurance for your long stocks. So I think some things could get pretty whipsawy at the beginning of 2018, mid 2018. So I'll be using protective puts a lot for longer term positions. Obviously, if I'm day trading or very, very short term swing trading, I'm just going to use stops as normal. But I will make sure to really freshen up on your protective puts, because I think these are going to be able to keep you in a lot of good trades if something like that happens, right? You spend a little bit of money on insurance right there, but you hold on to the winner. So KEY is another stock, at least in the financial industry, that I would kind of keep an eye on. So let's talk Visa. I like Visa to continue higher as well, mostly because this is the daily chart on Visa, and this particular candlestick pattern right here was a tweezer top. So you had a tweezer top, a perfect tweezer top. The highs of these candles are the exact same. And the fact that we have already taken out that tweezer top very quickly, and now you have a 2-day pennant pattern on Visa, I think Visa just slowly keeps grinding higher. So it's a very good buy the dip, hold on to the trend. I don't see any real rationale for it to drop right now. This was a pretty quick, fierce move in late November, early December, but it got bought up. And if you bought some of that, or got triggered in some shares on that pullback, I think Visa, especially if it continues above 115 the next week, breaking out of this 2-day pennant pattern, I think Visa continues higher. So here's the weekly chart on Visa. Again, trend looks good, pretty comfortable. You've had some pullbacks, and I really like it. So now what I want to do is I want to talk about some of the stocks that I'm most bullish on in 2018, right? So these are just some of the stocks that were requested. I know I can't look at all of them. I know I've already gotten a lot of requests while we're here. Lito's asking about Bitcoin as GCAP, and if GCAP is a way to safely invest in Bitcoin. I haven't looked at GCAP personally, so I don't know anything about it. I have to do some research on it. Gain Capital Holdings, not a very expensive stock. Investment banking, so I'm assuming they probably have something to do with Bitcoin. I'd have to do some more research on it, Lita, to be honest with you. I've just never heard of it or never looked at it. That's why I always loved having you in the trading room, because you always brought me really cool ETFs I've never heard of before. Or stocks. This is not an ETF, this is a stock. But GCAP, absolutely a possibility. In the cryptocurrency program, I will be discussing how you can get involved, what stocks, what ETFs you can use, but I will also obviously be discussing the exchanges that you can buy Bitcoins with and other alternate coins, as well as the risk mitigation techniques and tactics and all that kind of good stuff. So there's going to be a lot of ways to invest in Bitcoin. GCAP could potentially be one of them. There's going to be a few to really keep your eyes on. A lot of blockchain stocks I don't necessarily think are going to be quote-unquote bullish in 2018. I think you might have some crazy wild moves like Riot, R-O-I-O-T. I don't know how sustainable these particular stocks themselves will be, but I would say do research on them and don't be afraid to play them, because what I personally believe is the blockchain technology is here to stay. Bitcoin is not going away. It's not a bubble, and it will continue higher in 2018. That's my personal thoughts. So in regards to, blockchain stocks, they're hot, they have momentum, they move fast. Just make sure to use your risk mitigation and, don't go all in on a blockchain stock just because you like it. So what I want to do really quick is I want to talk about the stocks that I liked the most in 2017. This was an article I wrote this time last year. And this was a really, this was a solid write-up. Number one was Boeing. Do I need to go pull up the Boeing chart for you guys? We all know how Boeing played out. That was the big winner of the write-up. I mean, Boeing just crushed it. Right at 100% return. And that's Boeing. And again, I posted this article right back here when it's about 160. So very close to a 100% return on Boeing, one of the biggest companies in the world. Number two was Lockheed Martin. And we all know how Lockheed Martin did in 2017 as well. LMT. Right, so LMT, I wrote that article, published it right about there when it was at 250, and now it's at 322. So Lockheed Martin, powerful mover. Other one on the list was Deere & Company, ticker symbol DE. So Deere & Company, this was the other one that I wrote in. Right, this was the number 3 on the list. So number 3 on the list. This was back at 103. That's a 50% return on John Deere, ladies and gentlemen. Companies that people are like, oh, medical marijuana stocks. And we're talking 50% return on John Deere. Okay? Safe, dividend-paying stocks that just absolutely crushed it. Now, I didn't win on all of them. These were the two losers. Chesapeake Energy and Rig. So, you're going to have losers. Here's CHK. Now, it didn't do miserable. It just didn't do great. So CHK was down pretty nicely. Mostly because this is the weekly chart. It just never broke through the 100 simple on the weekly. I did kind of write that caveat in there. I do think there's an opportunity for them to bounce nicely in 2018 along with energies. I'm going to get to that in a second. But CHK, I mean, this 363 price, again, this is the weekly chart. I think there's some good opportunity for CHK. As long as it holds above 363, it'll at least be bullish to neutral. So yeah, this one was not a winner. I will pull up my CHK chart though, because all those stocks that we posted in that write-up were very easily tradable. And let me just pull up the CHK chart because this one might blow your mind a little bit. And again, this is all historic data that I can't go in and change. This is here for you all to analyze and go through all my trades analysis, and you can tell me if you think you can make money with the way that I create my stock setups. But this was back in April, okay, 6 months ago. My honest opinion on CHK from here. It's going to take just a second to pull up. So this is the weekly time frame. And I mentioned that it would kind of rotate higher, trade to the 100, trade back down to 363, chop around for a bit, and then break higher. That was pretty much my thought process on it. And if we press the play button, that's exactly what happened. I called, this one was almost to the penny and the week. Check that out. Right there, I mentioned that we'd have a rotation lower, right? As drawn in the blue. This is, again, freehand drawn. That's how much I study these charts, guys. It rotated, we broke lower, we trade sideways, we trade down. And again, I mentioned this bounce right there. Check out that bounce, guys. I called that bounce to the price, to the exact penny, and I freehand drew it 2 weeks early. Which means you do this analysis, you go, okay, you start looking around this for bouncing opportunity. This thing went from 363 to about 463, right at in about 2.5, 3 weeks. That's a solid 20% gain on a less expensive stock. So from here on Chesapeake, we are kind of triple bottoming, if you will, on this support level. And my thought is, as long as it holds above here, it should kind of continue to bounce. Rig, ticker symbol RIG. So Rig Transocean, this was the other loser, right? So Rig Transocean, it was at a resistance. This is still the support level. Right, same exact support level that I've had on Rig for a long time. Let me come back and see what analysis I posted on Rig or what chart. I know I have one, I just don't remember how recent it is. RIG. So rig, so my most recent analysis was this one right here, which is back in May. And this is when I mentioned my projections were wrong on rig. All right, so this is, I was like, hey guys, I was wrong. This was my note. So this is why I realized I was wrong. So I know that that article I posted, this top 10 stocks in 2017, that was in January. So in mid-March, I was telling everyone, I was like, all right guys, I'm wrong on this one, sorry. Let's play it bearish, let's kind of make it happen. And you know, I mentioned that rig would trade down to 763, start kind of bouncing around, and then I had a question mark because I really wasn't sure if it was going to bounce or go lower. It just kind of depends on the candles. And we can see obviously that rig did trade lower. It did bounce off of 763, right? Again, got it almost to the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not bragging, I'm just letting you know I can do it. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? So from there, you got the little bounce. And we're in this wave rotation right now, which looks pretty okay. Here's the long-term moving averages on rig, and the blue line for some reason is not loading. I don't know why that is. I don't know why my 100 simple is not loading, but it's pretty much right around here. So the 100 simple on rigs is going to be a big deal. Bottom line, I'm pretty bullish on energies. We're going to get to that in just a second. But I want to go through again just a few of these. General Dynamics was my number 6 pick for the top 10 stocks I'm most bullish on. And that again was in January 2017, right back there at 150. It's at 204. Another massive winner. Next one is Shopify. Number 7, ticker symbol SHOP. If you didn't make money on Shopify in 2017, I'm sorry. But again, we all know how that one played out. That was right here, 2017. Huge, huge, huge mover. Felipe, let me copy that link and I will look at that a little bit later. Okay, so that was 2017. A lot of traders made 4-digit returns on Shopify in 2017. Netflix, NFLX. So obviously, again, a pick for 2017. This was back in January. Again, an absolute monster. CF did okay. This was okay. I posted this one. This one just finally made it positive. So I posted again in January, right here, and we're right here. So it's up about 20%. Nothing outrageously strong, but this one does pay dividends, and I made a pretty good return on CF. And then we got, last but not least, Southwest Airlines. Ticker symbol LUV was my number 10. And again, this was posted in January 2017, right there. Up huge. So, here's my list for 2018. Stocks that I'm most bullish on, and I'm also going to do some stocks that I'm most bearish on. I have about 14 right now. I have not written these up yet, so this particular order is not saying it's the absolute strongest to the absolute lowest. I haven't organized them in that direction yet, but these are the 14 stocks that I'm the most bullish on in 2018. I like to stick to safer stocks. Again, we can do speculative investments. I trade Bitcoin. I do all that stuff. We can do aggressive things. I get it. But these stocks, they're not random, weird biotech stocks. These are companies that you know of, you've heard of every day, all the time. You can tell your friends. I love them. We'll be tracking them often. First on my list is British Petroleum. Ticker symbol BP. BP has consolidated for the better part of 2 years and has just finally broken out. As you can see, it's above its 200 simple on the weekly chart. This is, let me hop over here to the monthly chart. The monthly chart, you're breaking above the 100 simple on the weekly. We're making lower highs, but on the big picture, something like this. If we break out of that, which I intend that we do, BP, very fun dividend playing stock, very safe, not super expensive, and I think 48, which is, you know, 15-16% return, that's nothing to scoff at. I love BP. It's one of the stocks that I've traded the most in 2017. Big fan on it long term, and I think it goes higher. I really like British Petroleum. Shake Shack, SHAK. What's very interesting about Shake Shack is this is just pure and simple Dow theory. Look at this channel, ladies and gentlemen, on Shake Shack. Now, I've got to bring up the previous analysis that I've done on Shake Shack before. Again, I just like to back up the things that I say, the things that I talk about. This analysis on Shake Shack, the other day I saw a one-winged bat playing ping pong with a bowling ball. Made money on this trade. Look at this, August 14th, 2017. Channel on Shack, SHAK. Look at the notes. Channel location on Shake Shack. This is a buy low, sell high opportunity. One could do many things down here as long as you plan on approaching it bullish and you mitigate your risk. December calls look good, or some shares with protective puts if it makes an all-time low, which it did not. So anyway, this was at 31.46. Now it's at 43.61. This is a very nice breakout of this channel and this accumulation phase. Shake Shack is a pretty volatile little monster, and with some good pullbacks, which I think could happen in January, something like this and this, I would absolutely keep your eyes on Shake Shack for 2018. It has a lot of opportunities in front of it, and a lot of the food companies are starting to get more enticing for investors. LNG. This was another one that I was keeping a close eye on, and LNG also has a lot of room to go. This is an energy company that really didn't get beat up that much. It was obviously a healthy pullback in 2016, about 60%. Huge move, but since then has consistently been making higher lows. Right now, this red line is the 200 simple moving average on the weekly chart. We could probably chop around in here for a little while, but sky's the limit on this one. As you got a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern on LNG. We retest a little bit, we continue higher. I think we could easily see 30-40% gains back up to the previous all-time highs on LNG, another energy company. Next on the list is a shocker, FCX. FCX, folks, has really technically been very sound as of recent, and has had a gorgeous breakout in late 2017. I think copper's been up like 15 days in a row or some kind of world record like that. You got this inverted head and shoulders pattern down here on FCX, closed above the neckline. It chopped around for all of 2017, traded very sideways, and some volume is starting to come in on FCX. I could see this going up to 23 easily, which is a $4 move or 30% higher. But could it double? Could it trade back up to 28 or even higher? Absolutely. And this is the monthly chart. And the monthly chart, you'll see that it traded down to a very obvious buy low, sell high location down here at 4, where it was before. And this is the monthly candle on FCX right there. I like that one. It looks good, and I think it will slowly continue higher. So that's my thoughts on FCX. Here's another one, talk about diversity. Here's a REIT, Realty Income, ticker symbol O. This is the monthly chart, and you can kind of see a little bit of a triangle forming on the monthly. Trend still looks good. What we're doing is we're very nicely retesting old resistance as new support. I really like the old resistance as new support. I like the level. This one does pay dividends. Here's the weekly chart. You're kind of trading sideways in between the long-term moving averages. You got some nice lower highs, a relative low. If we chop around here for a few more months and then start breaking higher, I could see ticker symbol O moving pretty nicely as well. This one also might be a little bit of a shocker, is Intel. Intel, my friends, has made some strong waves. Look at this monthly chart on Intel. This one has nothing but blue skies ahead of it at this point. Up until 75, I could see it filling all of its 2000 tech bubble pop. This is another example of bubbles popping, but not really popping because it came back to life. Right? You had a monstrously awful sell-off, but you had some very good buying opportunities in here on Intel. And with this breakout right here, and then starting to tiptoe into some of the blockchain space, you can best believe that Intel's not going to let IBM leave it behind in the dust. I think Intel has a lot of growth potential. Speaking of blockchain, Square was another stock that we just absolutely wrecked in 2017. Just murdered this one. I do think it's going to continue higher. Nothing goes up forever, not even Bitcoin. So the pullback was obvious, warranted, and let me kind of pop over here to my Square target. So it hit my target within $1 or two for 2017, and as soon as it did that, it pretty much crumbled. So let me pop over here to November. I posted another one before this. I can probably go and try to find that one. My end of the year target was 46.78. All right, and my quarter two target for 2018 is a little bit higher. So yes, we did get about $2 or $3 higher than 46.78, but that's why taking your profit is always a good thing to do, right? Square, traded up, hit a wall, people sold, and that target, people, my real life traders who sold there are very happy, and they're now looking to get back in on this pullback. Let me come back over to November 28 posting. And bottom line, my post on November 28 is me saying I think we're going to rest and consolidate a little bit longer. So I had some traders that had some put sales. Some of these traders down here, anything below 38 expired worthless. But my thought and intention on Square is that we're going to trade and chop around a little bit longer before we go higher. Today's candle, if we go back to the daily chart, is really interesting. I like it a lot because this is a pretty bullish candle. Do have some protective puts on Square for some longer term investments, but here's the 100 simple moving average is at 32.87. I think we could trade sideways a little bit longer, maybe a month or two into February, trade sideways, but then eventually creeping higher into, again, end of quarter one, beginning of quarter two, and I think Square continues higher. I like this company a lot. 58.31 is my first 2018 target, and I would just say keep your eyes on this one into January, early February as it chops around, trades sideways. A good one for put sales if you want some shares, bull put spreads. It's going to be a little bit longer term, but I like it. Another one, lumber liquidators. I like lumber liquidators for a few reasons, but one of them specifically is this chart. I really like, this is the monthly chart on lumber liquidators, and this is an absolute monumental collapse up here. Talk about a bubble that no one talked about. Traded right back down to support. We consolidated down here for a while. I have charts and charts and charts on lumber liquidators. We've been following this one, and that's one of the reasons I like it so much, is because right now it's very disciplined. This is very disciplined. So if we come back here to March 30th, of 2017, this is me talking about Dow theory on lumber liquidators, literally using accumulation, public participation, distribution, channels, and how you can play lumber liquidators, and it really broke out very nicely. So I did all my write-ups down here, and here was the breakout, right? Just weeks after my post, because it had a very good bullish gap and go on a weekly. That was this little note right here. So this is a nice breakout. I mean, the Dow theory is holding up strong on lumber liquidators. Here's the weekly chart. And yes, we could chop around a little bit longer, but there's a lot of upside on lumber liquidators, and you know, no one's talking about it. It's no longer sexy, but the risk reward on LL is pretty solid. I also like Yum Brands. Ticker symbol YUM. This is the monthly chart on Yum Brands. Looks good, looks like a strong trend. I think Yum Brands will continue to go higher. Starbucks, ladies and gentlemen, has gotten zero love recently, and that is usually a good thing. On an absolute powerhouse of a company, Starbucks will be breaking out at some point. The question is just simply when. Will it be 2018? Will it be a little bit longer? Time will tell. This is a monthly chart on Starbucks, and we have traded sideways now for right at 3 years, 2.5 years. It's a long time for a blue chip stock. Here's your weekly chart, and you may or may not be able to see that Starbucks has bounced off that $53 support level a few times, and you probably also wouldn't be surprised if I pulled up a few charts on Starbucks letting people know this is where you want to buy at that low price. A lot of put sales on Starbucks. Trying to see where I determine. I mean, we had this one down here. Just tons of put sales and bull put spreads, right? Because it's not bullish. It's still bullish to neutral. It's sideways. So if you're owning shares, that's fine. This was kind of, again, just a lot of put sales, a lot of intraday triggers. This one was a really, really good move. It's on an hourly chart, so we're not going to get to see that much data. Trade over here. So again, this was way back in September, but even just looking at this on an hourly chart, that's just very nice 2 points right there on Starbucks. Anyway, we're trading sideways. I don't know if we're going to get back down to 53 or not, but at some point we're right in the middle of this channel. If it does trade back down to 53, I'm a buyer with a good dividend on Starbucks. I think this one could continue higher. If it's not 2018, 2019, but at some point she's going. Nike, also quietly moving for traders until just recently. So Nike, this pink line was drawn not too long ago, me wanting this pullback to occur. And we literally got it the very next week that I posted the drawing. I can't remember if I posted it on a weekly chart or a daily chart, but let's go and find out. I think I posted on a weekly. So this is the, I mentioned back on December 18th, breakout on Nike. And just gonna pull this up really quick. And what time frame is this? This is a weekly, okay. So I drew that I wanted a pullback, right, buy the dip, and it did it the very next week. Obviously on earnings, but the dip occurred and it pulled back very nicely. That was a phenomenal dip buying opportunity. I have so many charts on Nike saying what a phenomenal place to buy. Here was May 22nd of 2017. Right, getting into Nike down there at $50. Now it's at $62. That's over a 20% return on Nike, ladies and gentlemen. So back in May 22nd, 17, big arrow, green arrow, pointing to that nice level, good support, bounce off of it there, bounce off of it there. Beautiful spot. With this breakout, this channel occurring on Nike, I know that there's a previous resistance here at 67. And we could channel for a while, but if Nike eventually breaks out of that, she's going to keep running, and I'm really keeping an eye on that one. Disney also, another shocker, but Disney with the whole Fox merger has been trading sideways very nicely on a weekly chart. Let me just turn off these long-term moving averages for a second. The reason I really like Disney bullish is because it's an obvious distribution phase, right? Nothing goes up forever. So you have a phenomenal bullish move into here. We trade sideways. You had numerous opportunities to get in bullish at these very clear and obvious supports. We could chop around for a while. Again, maybe it's 2018, but eventually this triangle will break out on Disney and it will go higher. Star Wars Land opening up in Disney World in Florida not too long from now. People are still coming to the park by droves. They're going to be a good beneficiary of the tax cut. If they own 21st Century Fox, if that deal goes through, that could be a big one as well. Jordan says also in California. Yes, California. I think they're doing Star Wars Land. So it's going to be a big deal. The Star Wars movie, I mean, huge movie, very popular, tons of money. I think it's just a matter of time that triangle breaks out on Disney. If it's going to happen in 2018, cool. But at some point, it is brewing. Two others, CVS. So CVS down here has had a very comfortable pullback, a strong move, right, at 112 all the way down to 70. What is interesting on CVS is I forget the exact news story, but they're working, at least in Florida, with, so I forget if it's Medicare or Medicaid. I think it's Medicaid, but they're working on becoming the #1 provider for Medicaid in the state of Florida. Specifically for anyone looking at getting specific prescriptions, they have to go to CVS. And with this pullback, strong pullback in the market when most of the market was going up, CVS was going down in 2015, 16, and 17. A lot of bullish volume starting to come in, with it making a lower low. What is interesting about that is that's usually when I start looking for something called divergence. There is divergence on CVS. This is the MACD, also known as the Moving Average Convergence Divergence Indicator, and it is posting a bullish divergence on CVS. With that volume coming in and with the pullback and the fact that it's a dividend payer, I'm looking at CVS to potentially continue higher. or at least offering a good buying spot or being bullish to neutral in 2018. And last but not least, one of my fan favorites, Budweiser. This is the monthly chart on Budweiser. Let me pull up the exponential moving averages. And we're coming into the 50 again for the second time on Budweiser. It's a dividend paying stock. Everyone knows it. Everyone knows how they make money. They are in a distribution phase right now. It's a very nice buy low, sell high. 2018 doesn't have to be a monstrous year, but if we hop over here to the weekly chart and you pull up just the weekly, it's in a very good sideways move. It's kind of in the middle of the channel right now, but you know, if it pulls down to 101 again, this is a potential 30% gain on Budweiser from support down here and a resistance up here. It's obviously a longer term type of play. Buy low, sell high. Keep your eyes on Budweiser, but they're doing big things, and with Constellation Brands and a lot of the other companies just skyrocketing, I think at some point it'll be Budweiser's turn, but offers a really good opportunity to buy low, sell high. And if you hop over here to the daily chart, Budweiser does gap all the time as it's an ADR. But I think it could double bottom into here. And even for traders who don't like big companies, my thought is if you drink beer, this is a company that you could get paid to be an owner rather than just a buyer. So it's at least something to keep an eye out for. So those are the stocks that I'm most bullish on for 2018. Stocks that I'm most bearish on, I'll go a little bit quicker because they're not as important. Fitbit. Still don't see anything exciting happening on Fitbit anytime soon. I could be wrong. They are in an accumulation phase. You are trading sideways. I will be watching them. Best case, they probably get bought out. What's interesting is as bearish as I am on Fitbit, just because they haven't been doing anything exciting at all. Even with a new Fitbit coming out over Christmas, sales were pretty deplorable. There's a lot of competition in the space. If it breaks out, I can be a bull. That's fine. I'm not afraid of that at all. But for right now, I'm waiting. I don't see anything that I like on Fitbit or GoPro for that matter. GPRO, trends that just look abysmal. Nothing exciting happening at all. And I just do not see anything bullish on those charts, at least right now. And if you want to go bullish on one of those, I would say just be really cautious. Sears probably goes bankrupt this year. I've been saying that those going to go bankrupt in 5 years, and it's been about 4 years ago. So I started saying that about 2014. So we ain't got much time left. Sears, very bearish. Just a matter of time before it either goes bought out, Chapter 11, or just slowly goes to nothing. JCPenney, probably the next one. Whatever JCPenney, if Sears does it, JCPenney will probably also do it. Here's the monthly chart on JCPenney, and I don't see anything but bears at this exact moment, breaking some very obvious support, just crushing it lower and not looking good. The other one, GE. I don't see anything good about GE. A lot of people trying to pick some bottoms on GE right now. They're a huge, massive company, and yes, at some point they'll probably recover, but this is not a good chart for GE, making a consecutive another second decade lower high. Boom, boom, boom. I think it could easily trade into 1462, so if you're looking at buying GE, I would just continue to wait. I think it's going to go lower. Got a few more on the list. Bed Bath & Beyond, I'm certainly not bullish on by any magnitude. BBBY, granted, it is trading into an okay support, so it's finally getting down there. So if you're looking at playing Bed Bath & Beyond, this is the spot, right? So it's had a monumental sell-off. So if you're looking at being bullish on it, I get it. This is the spot. I'm just personally not doing that. The reason is only because I don't shop at Bed Bath & Beyond, and a lot of people don't either. They do everything they can to get people in the stores by offering those giant, billboard-sized coupons, but on Bed Bath & Beyond, I just don't see anything drastically amazing other than that support. If that thing breaks, I don't see any hope for it. Lita says GE may go down as low as $5 in my opinion. You're probably right. Honestly, they've had some serious struggles. So yeah, I'm gonna be very cautious if I take any trade bullish on GE. Two others at least. Travis is mentioning GNC. I could understand that one. Pier 1 Imports, again, is looking pretty rough. This is the monthly chart, and this is the weekly. So Pier 1 Imports, it's at a very key level. So here's the support right here on Pier 1 Imports. Again, not a perma bear by any means. If you're looking at going bullish on Pier 1 Imports, just like Bed Bath & Beyond, this is the spot. But if it breaks lower, don't see Pier 1 Imports hanging its hat on any exciting shelves. And then last but not least, Pandora. Some very interesting events in the musical space with Pandora right now. Pandora keeps breaking key levels, going lower and lower and lower. I don't see anything phenomenal in Pandora right now, and they're looking pretty buyout ripe at this particular point, maybe by Apple or Sirius Music or someone like that. Maybe there's some kind of merger. But Pandora, just nothing really exciting. So the bearish trades, I'm not saying I have any bearish positions on them, unless other than Sears. I just simply saying those stocks, if you're looking at playing them, feel free to just really have your risk mitigated and just watch it in general. In sectors that I'm bullish on, Lita says, what about JCPenney? Yes, mentioned JCPenney. JCPenney and Sears both probably headed to zero in the next calendar year. Sectors that I like a lot, I do like energy. I'm keeping a close eye on energy for most of 2018. This is the energy ETF, or at least one of them is XLE, and I really like the shape of this pattern. I like the inverted head and shoulders. There's a lot of my stocks that I'm keeping a close eye on, like Energy Transfer Partners, ETP. This was at a really key support level. Tons and tons of bullish volume coming in on this one at a key price. So Energy Transfer Partners, I know one of my good buddies has a lot of shares of that one, some good volume at a key support level. I like energy. I like energy in 2018. If you can find a good stock that has some good technicals, some good fundamentals, I think it's a thumbs up. Also, big fan of transportation in 2018, specifically the Delta Airlines, Southwest Airlines, American Airlines. Those have been distributing for about 2 or 3 years, meaning just technically they are trading sideways for a very long time, but Delta is continually making higher lows and it is breaking out. This is a dividend paying stock. If you travel a lot for your job or business or for pleasure, I would assume you probably want to have some type of ownership rather than just being a buyer. But yeah, I like a lot the airline industry. I'll be keeping a very close eye on 2018 for those breaking out as well. And stocks I'm going to keep an eye on, that anything is possible. They could go to 0 or they could go to 100. I'm not really sure. Redfin, RDFN, no clue what this one's going to do, but I am watching this IPO. Technically, it trades pretty sound. This is one that we traded in the 2017 fall portfolio, and a lot of traders made some good money trading Redfin. I mean, this was a trade from $20 to $30. So RDFN, here's a daily chart. Social media, blockchain, tech, social application. There's a lot of potential on Redfin, one that I'm really watching. It's just on my watch list. It could go bullish, it could go bearish, it could do anything, all of the above. Talking about Fin, here's another one. The LFIN is going to be an interesting IPO to watch. I have no clue what this thing's going to do, at least not yet. Waiting for some interesting financial reports to kind of read through on those. But this is an IPO that I'll be watching, as also it's trying to dabble in the blockchain space. And anything in the blockchain space I think is going to get pretty sexy. 3 more. Acacia Communications just went from, hero to zero pretty quickly, but it is coming back into a really prime support level. Again, on these stocks, these are ones that I'm just watching and keeping an eye on, maybe for 2019. But I could see ACIA going a little bit lower potentially, but would still be a good opportunity at some point to buy low, sell high. But anything is possible in Acacia. I'm just watching it. Could go lower easily or could really crank up higher. Just like TWLO. Twilio, at a very good support level. Key price, buy low, sell high. Gonna chop around here for a little bit. Also, pretty much a coin flip. Not the best fundamentals, a lot of competition, a lot of things in this space that are going down. Going down. There's just a lot of shakeups, a lot of movement, a lot of interesting applications that are being forming on TWLO. So we'll see. That's a coin flip. Could go higher, could go lower, but I'll be watching it for a lot of 2018. And then QD, watching this one because any IPO that just opens up and just starts getting just reamed. I mean, this thing has lost over 50% since its IPO. When I say they in air quotes, you know, New York Stock Exchange, they're not going to just let this IPO go to zero. Again, coin flip, could break lower, could break higher, but QD is one that I will be watching for sure. Bob says, what about Momo? Did $19 put sales on it in 2017. So Momo triggered some protective puts for me yesterday, I'm sorry. Still got a collar on Momo with double protection on the downside. Weekly chart, you are failing the 100. It looks like she's going to go a little bit lower, probably to 17.5, worst case scenario. And then from there, we'll see if it goes lower. But on Momo, nice double top. And it's working out. We keep going lower and lower and lower. So I'm absolutely going to protect myself. At this point, if Momo just really cranks out and goes lower, I got January 20 and January 25 puts. So I'm going to offset all losses. And it's a retest gap that is retesting. Black candle, gapping down. Black candle, gapping down. Nice little retest. So, yeah. Mark says the Momo on Momo is on the downside. The momentum on Momo. I'd have to agree, my man. I'd have to agree. Two other really quick things. So if anybody wants to speak with me about 2018, if you have any questions, again, feel free to email me anytime. My email address is jeremy@reallifetrading.com. That's going to pretty much wrap it up for me today. Do I have any questions at this particular point? Kristen says, dumb question, no, but I'm assuming it's easy to find the protected put video on the website. Yes, very easy. You could Google it. So if you type in protective puts real life trading, that's usually what you can do anytime you want to find anything, ladies and gentlemen, is just type in whatever you were looking for and type in real life trading into Google. I SEO pretty well. And there you go. First video, adjusting the trade, protective puts. So I'll throw that in the chat pane. If you guys ever have any questions, Google it and then put real life trading at the end and you'll probably find something cool. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all being here. I will say I really honestly look forward to 2018 hopefully being an absolutely financially massive year for you. 2017 for me was the best year of my life thus far, and it was with a lot of adversity in 2015 and 16. You know, nothing good comes from nothing that didn't happen that was hard. So if you find you're struggling in your trading, if you find you're struggling in your profitability, if you find you're struggling in your financial life or your goals or your business, reach out to me. I'm here to help. We have an incredible, very supportive team, and I want to do my absolute best to ensure that I can enrich your life and enrich the lives around you. My friends, thank you for being here. I truly appreciate it. I look forward to just absolutely blowing off the roof on the internet in our January free week. You'll see banners and links. You'll be getting all kinds of emails. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for everything. Ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate it. You guys are incredible. If you need anything, have any questions, reach out to me. But until next time, ladies and gentlemen, remember, love life, live life, and trade it. I will see you all in 2018. Hopefully I will see you in the free week morning room and afternoon room. Otherwise, I'll still be emailing you all. It'll be a blast. You guys rock.